Good morning. Welcome to Dr. Talks to Anthony Taylor. We're going to have a insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversation content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development and just into your well-being, right? But in today's conversation, we're going to talk about why being too sensitive is a myth, right? So many people have been told they're too sensitive when in reality, they're just, having their normal emotional response, the reaction, right? So I really want to kind of just take in consideration because some people make you try to break your self-esteem, try to make you feel inadequate, trying to pull you down, a sense of worth, or they out here just trying to have some sense of control and manipulation in regards to some of their wordplay and how they're trying to make you feel, right? You feel what you feel, and that is totally fine. Everybody's body, mind, body connection is going to be different, right? That's why personal development, personal space, self-care, all this derives from you, right? And you have to be able to be intuitive with yourself. And like I said, embrace how you feel is how you feel, right? So don't let someone else out there misconstrue with your mental, try to make you feel inadequate. No, because what you feel is what you feel, and that is totally okay, right? So moving forward in regards to normalized experiences, many people grow up, hearing the phrases that you're overreacting, you're too emotional, you need to tighten up, right? And over that period of time, you start to question yourself and, your feelings and your intuition, and you start to, sometimes even have that confusion, like, am I tripping? Am I bugging out? Is it really me? Am I really always, Like, and this can really kind of mess you up. So I really want us to understand that, you're not someone's emotional filter, You don't gotta take on someone's projections, but at the same time too, with you having the sense, your sense of self, and just having a normal response in regards to reaction or whatever, I really want you to kind of just, really embrace that. This is who you are, this is what you feel, and this is what you feel. So this can also lead to, like I said, self-doubt in that sense, or emotional suppression. Like I said, you're taking on someone else's emotional, wordplay or their opinions or their validation or whatever things that they're saying, on taking that up into your emotional filter, and you're feeling those emotions and it's pushing you down. It's like almost like it's suppressing you. You know what I mean? So I really want us to understand that almost like a tennis court, someone has their side, you have your side, and it's obviously that barrier, right? So you have to understand that you do what you want in your world. You take care of your mental health on your side, right? And just because someone else, don't forget about, like, this, we're not looking at it in an opponent way, right? But just because someone else, says what they want to say, you're hearing it, right? But you're still on your side, you're taking care of yourself, right? So people can say whatever they want to say, they're in their bubble, they're on their side, right? But make sure you're always maintaining your peace of mind, you're on your side, right? We can hear what we want to hear, and that's why we can take the bad, we can take the good, we can hear the information, etc., but we can choose what we want to do with it, right? We don't have to take on that information and be an emotional filter to make us feel down about ourselves. No, let's not do that, right? So we can hear these things, but like I said, we can be more aware and assertive how we want to be able to take those emotions. It's not our responsibility, right? So you're not weak, you're not down bad, you're a bad person, you're not too sensitive, whatever these things are being said to you, right? But I really want us to draw some awareness to these things, right? Because like I said, words hold weight sometimes, and sometimes they do some damage and people don't really have that mindfulness to it, right? When it comes to some psychoeducation, people experience emotions differently based on their personality, right? Their experiences, culture, and their nervous system. So, right, once again, everybody's what? They're different, right? Everybody comes from different homes, the way that their parents raised them. Some people come from foster homes, right? So everybody's different personality, etc. It's going to be just different, right? Everybody's unique, right? So I really want us to understand that someone's perception, how they want to see you or hear from you or whatever that may be in regards to the reaction may be different. So I really want you to be kind of mindful about how, you are, and embracing who you are, and understand that you're improving, you're gaining the awareness, and you're on your own rodeo for your own, direction. But I once again want to realize too is that let's take into consideration who we surround ourselves around. Right? Some of us gotta be more conscientious, right? Who we around. Like, if we're around positive people, right? That's gonna play into our world, right? So I really want us to understand, like, the mindfulness, right? Solitude, detaching from the distraction, detaching from negativity, detaching, especially for those out there, like I said, come from the dysfunctional homes. Like, we gotta understand our nervous system is more prone to cling on to these things and let these things, define us or deteriorate us, destroy us. I gotta be real with you. Right? So I really want us to understand that let's really develop this intuitive, with the self-awareness, right? Journal if possible, right? These things truly help because it helps you build that self-rapport with yourself. But really, like I said, recognize that, sensitivity is not a flaw. It's strictly just, it's a human trait, right? So it exists throughout the spectrum in regards to you being a human. Everybody feels these things. Once again, everybody is different, right? So the goal is not to eliminate, like I said, your emotions. Don't shut down, right? Don't run away. Don't avoid. Don't say, I don't rock with people no more. Like, because this happens to some people, right? Some people just, they come into a family dynamic, for instance, and they're a really loving individual. They're empathetic. They're trying to connect with people, trying to find them sense of self, trying to gain some understanding, right? But then people know what I mean, different family dynamics, or even just out there in the world or school. You know, everybody's experience is different, and people say certain things, right? Like I said, words hold what? They hold weight, right? And sometimes they make more impact than you may realize. And then, you know, people start to feel some type of way and they suppress themselves, right? So I want you to understand, be more intuitive what you're hearing, build rapport with yourself. And that's why it's always good to have positive, you know, reinforcement, to realize like, yo, someone's saying this to you, but no, I'm really this, you know what I mean? So really understand, like, you know what I mean, develop your own values, develop your own system, boost yourself up with positive reinforcement. You feel me? You gotta put this motivation into yourself, the love into yourself, and realize that you are, you know, you're a person just like anybody else out there, but invest into yourself in a more positive way, right? So the goal isn't, like I said, eliminate your emotions. It's to develop more understanding and to be able to regulate them, right? Some people out there, like I said, come from dysfunctional homes, and people out there in just general, right? We're quick to what? Respond. Some of us don't even take the time to really process and think before we react to the situation, right? So it's not for you to get physical. It's not for you to get, you know what I mean, triggered or etc., right? Really process that information. You know what I mean? This person got me twisted. They didn't know me like they know me. They didn't walk the way I walked. They didn't hold the backpack. They didn't navigate the way I navigated. They don't know my resilience. They don't know me. They wasn't, you feel me? Like, don't let people trick you outside your position by let them saying whatever they want to say, right? You put the work in. You out here standing. You feel me? You're doing the best that you can. So recognize these things, right? But moving forward in regards to your emotions, like I said, they provide valuable information. This could be a signal that they matter, right? So understand boundaries that have been crossed, or the attention that this needs in regards to you, right? So I want you to take that in consideration. So moving into practical reframe, right? So viewing sensitivity differently, right? So sensitivity can foster empathy, compassion, and meaningful relationships. You can also honor your emotions without letting them control your decisions, right? So that emotional regulation, really having that mind set to really, just like I said, take a deep breath, really reassess, think before you respond and react to the situation, right? So that emotional awareness is a strength to be paired with that healthy regulation, right? So we're moving towards a healthier way of how we're going to handle situations, right? So, you know, feeling hurt after criticism, right? You may, you know, feel down about a grade, or, you know, a result that you wasn't anticipated with. So like I said, foster that positive, you know, reinforcement. Really engage into positive self-talk, really boost yourself up, right? It's not at the end of the world, right? You tried your best, you fall down, you're able to get back up, right? So you have some understanding in that sense, right? So becoming emotionally, you know, aware of these things are going to help you have more meaningful conversations as well. And recognizing your values is really going to understand, you know, and help you to really have you navigate through these different challenging situations as well, right? Like we talked about, having those boundaries, cancellations if you need, to kind of like give the time that you need to kind of build yourself rapport with yourself, right? Feeling deeply connected with yourself is going to help you, like I said, also improve relationships with others within years. Let's dive into some micro action in regards to, because when we know better, we tend to we do better, right? So think of a time when you felt like, you know, you was down bad because someone called you, you know what I mean, too sensitive. You ain't the only one. It was called to me too, you heard? So I just, let's think about a time. Let's be real with ourselves, right? Right. So take that moment, breathe, really reassess, think. All right, and then ask yourself, right, was I actually too sensitive, or was this a real, I was really expressing, you know, an emotional, you know what I mean? My emotional experience was really real. Like, how was I, you know what I mean? And then, like I said, practice validating your feelings. I really want us to understand that we got to understand that we need to stop seeking validation from other people, right? Giving people that emotional response. Like I said, for those that come from dysfunctional dynamics, there's people out here that are feeding off of your emotion. They want you to be the emotional filter. They want to project upon you. They want to manipulate you. They want to control you. They want to kind of derive, you feel me, some sadness or emotion, anger, right? Let's be real. I got to be real with you, right? So I really want us to understand we have to be more self-aware. We have to be more self-regulated and understand, right? There's people out here that are in dysfunction and hurt people, right? People are suffering out here. There's people out here that are trying to develop a healthier way. They're trying to improve. They're trying to get out of this chaotic mentality, this boxed in mentality. They're trying to really improve, and they're looking left, looking right, and they're just like, yo, I'm tired of seeing the suffering. I'm trying to get out of this, right? So understand, like I said, once again, you're not the only one. But your emotions need, you know what I mean, that curiosity before that criticism. So don't beat yourself down. Use positive self-talk, and that's going to help you navigate throughout the sensitivity and all that kind of that talk that people try to be putting on you, right? So once again, like I said, people out here, they may try to get a reaction out of you, right? They may try to say things, but as long as you have that self-rapport yourself, that you know what I mean, you love yourself, you understand what's going on, you're intuitive with your emotions, right? That's really what matters, right? So sensitivity is not, you know, something that you need to outgrow. It's something that you're able to understand and manage when you, like I said, spend time on that self-care, build that self-rapport, right? And make that personal investment, right? If you found this video beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share it possible, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.